Have you ever noticed that most men walk around as if nothing and no one could shake them? They try to look strong, calm, and untouchable. But here's a truth that very few people know. Deep inside, even the most confident man has a fear that he tries to hide at all costs. And that fear is not about money, about losing his job, or about facing challenges. The greatest fear of a man is losing a woman who truly matters to him. Not every woman, not just any relationship, but that one woman who touched him in such a way that her absence would completely change his life. What most women don't realize is that this fear is only triggered by two very specific factors. Two factors that separate a casual connection from an irreplaceable bond. Right now, you might be wondering if the man in your life would ever be afraid of losing you. Maybe you've had the feeling that he takes you for granted, that he assumes you will always be there no matter how he acts. And yes, many men do fall into this trap, behaving as if the woman by their side is permanent, forgetting that nothing in life is guaranteed. But the fascinating part is this. The moment one of these two secret factors gets activated, everything changes. His perspective shifts, his mask of indifference falls, and suddenly, the idea of losing you keeps him up at night. That's when he starts doing things he never thought he would do, fighting for your attention, valuing the small details, and realizing that your presence is not a given, but a privilege. Imagine for a second what it would mean if you could understand exactly what makes a man terrified of losing you. No more confusion about his cold and distant behavior. No more wasting time with games that lead nowhere. Instead, you would know precisely what shakes the deepest part of his mind. You would hold the keys to the only two doors that open this fear inside him. And when a man is afraid of losing you, he behaves differently. He no longer delays, he no longer ignores, he no longer puts you at the end of his priorities. He looks at you as someone unique, someone who cannot be replaced, and someone he knows he would regret losing for the rest of his life. Think about it. How many times have you seen men regret losing a woman only to try to go back when it's already too late? Maybe you've even been in that position, where after you finally walked away, he suddenly realized what he had lost. But here's the secret most women never hear. It's not about time, it's not about routine, and it's not even about how much history you share. Men only fear losing a woman for two hidden reasons. Two triggers that most of them would never admit out loud, but that guide their actions and decisions more than they want to accept. And here's where the power lies for you. Because once you understand these factors, everything becomes clearer. You stop asking yourself, why does he treat me this way? Or, what would make him finally wake up? You stop wasting your energy trying to fit into expectations that don't work. Instead, you gain clarity, you gain control, and you finally see the difference between being just another chapter in his story and being the woman he never wants to lose. Most men will never explain this to you, either because they don't even realize it consciously, or because they are too afraid to expose this vulnerability. But today I'm going to reveal what really goes on inside their minds. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because once you understand the two secret factors that truly make a man fear losing you, you will never see your relationships the same way again. You will understand why some women are unforgettable to them, while others fade like they were never there. You will understand how a simple shift in perception can change his entire behavior toward you. And most importantly, you will realize that you don't need to beg, chase, or compromise your worth to make a man value you. All you need to do is understand these two invisible forces that are stronger than pride, stronger than ego, and stronger than the excuses he tells himself. Let me tell you a story that might sound very familiar. Julia had been in a relationship for 3 years with Daniel, a man who was charming, funny, and full of energy when they first met. In the beginning, he sent her messages throughout the day, made plans for their weekends, and seemed to genuinely appreciate her presence. Julia felt she had found someone who not only loved her, but also respected her. For a while, everything seemed perfect, but slowly things started to change. Daniel became more distracted, less affectionate, and less invested. He no longer sent the good morning messages. He stopped planning special nights together. And when Julia tried to talk about how she felt, he brushed it off with phrases like, "You're overthinking," or, "I've just been busy." Julia began to feel invisible in her own relationship. She couldn't help but wonder, did he still care? Or had she already lost the importance she once had in his life? What Julia didn't know at that moment is that Daniel was making a mistake most men make. He assumed Julia would always be there. He thought that because she had given so much of herself, she would never walk away, and this illusion of permanence made him careless. But here is where the story gets interesting. Julia, tired of feeling taken for granted, decided to make a change. She stopped trying to force conversations, stopped rearranging her life around Daniel's schedule, and began focusing on herself. She started exercising again, spending more time with her friends, investing in her career, and rediscovering the parts of her that had been hidden under the weight of the relationship. Daniel noticed the shift. At first, he didn't take it seriously. He thought it was just a phase. But slowly, he began to feel something he hadn't felt in years. Fear. Fear that Julia might actually move on. Fear that she might realize she deserved more. Fear that the woman he had once taken for granted was slipping away. Not because she was leaving in anger, but because she no longer needed him the way he thought she did. That was the moment one of those two secret factors was triggered. And suddenly, Daniel changed. He began calling more often, suggesting dinners, asking questions about her day. He even admitted one night that he couldn't imagine life without her. For the first time in a long time, Julia felt his sincerity again. But by then, she had already learned something valuable. His fear was not random. It wasn't caused by simple jealousy or by routine. It was caused by something much deeper, something connected to how men perceive women they truly cannot afford to lose. Julia's story is not unique. You probably know someone who has gone through the same thing, or maybe you've been in her place. Many women experience that cycle of giving everything in the beginning, only to be met with indifference later. And yet, when they finally step back and reclaim their own value, the man suddenly wakes up. That wake-up call is not magic. It's not luck. It's the exact moment when one of those hidden fears comes to the surface. There's another story that shows this even more clearly. A woman named Clara had been married for nearly a decade. Her husband Robert loved her, but over time, the spark faded. He prioritized work, friends, and even his phone over her. Clara kept trying to hold things together until one day she told him she was thinking of leaving. For the first time in years, Robert panicked. He stayed up all night, couldn't focus at work, and begged her to give him another chance. His sudden desperation wasn't about losing a wife on paper. It was about losing something far more powerful, the role she played in his life that no one else could replace. These stories reveal a truth about men that often stays hidden. They don't fear losing every woman. They don't fear loneliness the way women sometimes imagine. What they fear is losing the woman who activates those two secret factors. When those are in place, a man suddenly feels exposed, vulnerable, and afraid in ways he never shows to the world. That is why some women leave and men barely react, while others leave and men spend years trying to get them back. If you look closely, you will see the same pattern repeating in countless relationships around you. Men can act tough, detached, or even careless. But the moment those two factors are threatened, everything shifts. Suddenly, the jokes stop. The indifference disappears and the fear of loss takes over. That fear is what pushes them to act, to confess, and to do what they should have done all along. Value the woman who matters most. Now let's go deeper into the truth behind this fear. As I told you before, men don't fear losing every woman. What shakes them to the core is losing a woman who triggers two hidden factors that are rooted in male psychology. Once you understand them, you'll realize why some men never value certain women while others become obsessed with not letting them go. The first factor is what I call the uniqueness of emotional connection. A man may meet many women in his life, but only a few create an emotional impact so powerful that he cannot find it anywhere else. This is not about physical attraction. This is not about intimacy. It's about how you make him feel about himself when he is with you. If you make him feel understood, respected, and seen in a way no one else does, you awaken a fear in him that no one else can replace you. It's almost like his subconscious mind recognizes that what he has with you is rare, and once it's gone, there is no guarantee he will ever find it again. Think about it. Men can spend years chasing beauty, but beauty fades. They can spend years enjoying attention, but attention is cheap and easy to find. What is irreplaceable is the woman who makes him feel that he is not just a man, but her man. The woman who listens without judgment, who challenges him without disrespect, who stands by him while still keeping her own value. That is when he starts to realize that losing you would mean losing something that no one else could ever offer, and that realization terrifies him. The second factor is the sense of personal growth and elevation. Men fear losing a woman who makes them better. This doesn't mean you have to act like his teacher, his therapist, or his coach. It means that, simply by being with you, he feels like a stronger, wiser, more ambitious version of himself. When a man notices that his life is moving forward because of your presence, whether through inspiration, support, or simply the way you carry yourself, he connects your existence to his progress. The thought of losing you then becomes a threat not just to his heart, but to his future. That is why some men cling so desperately when they realize they are about to lose the woman who elevated their lives. Because deep down, they know the difference between someone who just fills time and someone who transforms their journey. Without her, life feels smaller, emptier, and less meaningful. And here's the paradox. Men often realize this only when they sense they're at risk of losing it. While they have it, they may take it for granted. But once they feel it slipping away, panic sets in. Because the fear is not only about losing a partner, it's about losing a version of themselves they cannot get back without her. Let me explain it more clearly. When a man is only physically attracted to a woman, the fear of losing her is weak. Why? Because he knows he can find physical attraction elsewhere. When a man is only with a woman because of convenience or routine, the fear of losing her is weak. Why? Because convenience can be replaced and routine can be rebuilt. But when a man has an emotional bond that feels one of a kind, and when he connects his growth and future to the presence of that woman, suddenly the thought of losing her is unbearable. That's when his actions change. That is why men who seemed indifferent suddenly start calling, apologizing, or fighting for a second chance. That is why some men realize too late and spend years regretting. And that is why, if you want to truly understand a man's fear of losing you, you must pay attention to whether you activate these two secret factors in his life. Let's imagine it in a different way. Think of a man's life as a building. Most women are like furniture. Nice to have, sometimes beautiful, sometimes useful, but ultimately replaceable. If one piece breaks, another can take its place. But the woman who triggers these two factors is not furniture. She is the foundation. Without her, the entire building shakes. Without her, cracks begin to appear. Without her, the man realizes that his life is no longer as solid as it seemed. That's the level of fear we are talking about. Now, here's something important to understand. You don't need to force these factors. You don't need to beg, chase, or compromise yourself to make a man feel them. In fact, the moment you try too hard, you lose the very essence that makes you irreplaceable. Because uniqueness of emotional connection is not about doing everything for him. It's about being yourself in such a way that he feels safe and valued, while still knowing that you have your own strength. And growth and elevation are not about fixing his problems. It's about living your own life so fully that he naturally rises to meet your level. Men may not talk about this openly, but this fear is deeply wired into them. They know, even if they don't admit it, that women who trigger both of these factors are not easy to find. They might spend years chasing distractions, but when faced with the possibility of losing the woman who gave them both emotional connection and personal growth, they break. And that break is what makes them fight harder, regret deeper, and fear more than anything else. So remember, men only fear losing a woman for two reasons. First, because she gave him an emotional bond that no one else could replicate. Second, because her presence elevated him into someone he never could have been alone. Those are the only two forces strong enough to pierce through pride, ego, and the false sense of independence that so many men wear as armor. And once those forces are felt, the idea of losing you becomes the one thing he cannot handle. Now that you understand the two hidden factors that truly make a man afraid of losing a woman, it's time to face the urgent part. What happens if you ignore this knowledge? What happens if you allow a man to continue taking you for granted, believing you will always be there regardless of how he treats you? The truth is harsh but clear. If you don't awaken these two forces in his mind, he will not fear losing you. And when a man does not fear losing you, his behavior changes in ways that slowly destroy the relationship. He delays making decisions. He ignores your needs. He assumes you will always forgive him. He stops putting effort into making you feel special. He starts living as if your presence is permanent, like a background detail in his life, instead of something precious that he could lose at any moment. And when that happens, you become invisible to him, even though you are standing right in front of him. Think about how many women waste years of their lives hoping a man will finally realize their value, only to end up disappointed. They wait for him to wake up, to change, to start treating them with the love they deserve. But without these two secret fears activated, he has no urgency. To him, time is endless, and your patience has no limits. He doesn't see the risk, so he doesn't act. And by the time he finally realizes it, when you're already gone, it's often too late. This is why you need to understand the consequences of letting things slide. The longer you allow a man to treat you as if your presence is guaranteed, the less he values you. The less he values you, the more careless he becomes. And the more careless he becomes, the more you lose yourself in the process. You stop recognizing the woman you once were, the confident, vibrant, and strong woman who deserved to be cherished. Instead, you become someone waiting for crumbs of affection, someone trying to prove her worth to a man who isn't even afraid of losing her. And here's the painful reality. Many men only wake up when they feel they are truly about to lose the woman who matters. That's when panic sets in, when the late-night texts and desperate calls appear, when the sudden promises and grand gestures come out of nowhere. But by then, you have to ask yourself, why did it take losing me for him to finally see me? Why wasn't I enough when I was right there giving him my love? This is why urgency is everything. If you wait too long, you risk falling into a cycle where your worth is only recognized when you are already halfway out the door. And that is not the life you deserve. You deserve to be valued while you are still there, not only when you are gone. You deserve a man who understands right now that your presence is a gift, not a guarantee. The consequences go even deeper. When a man does not fear losing you, he starts testing boundaries. He might take more risks, flirt with other women, ignore your feelings, or treat you with less respect. Why? Because he feels secure. He feels untouchable. He believes that no matter what, you will stay. This lack of fear becomes a dangerous comfort zone, and it leads him to behaviors that hurt both you and the relationship. But when those two secret factors are present, everything changes. The fear of losing you becomes real, and when fear is real, respect grows, effort increases, appreciation becomes visible. He realizes that if he doesn't take care of what he has, it might disappear. That is when his actions shift from indifference to urgency. He starts fighting for your attention, protecting the bond, and treating you the way you should have been treated all along. So here is the consequence you must remember. If you don't allow a man to feel that fear, he will never rise to the level you deserve. Without it, you will always feel like you are giving more than you receive. With it, you will see the difference between being tolerated and being treasured. That is why understanding and applying this knowledge is not just important, it is urgent. Because every day you spend in a relationship where you are not valued is a day you lose yourself, and a day you teach him that he can keep treating you the same way. So now you know the truth most women never hear. Men only fear losing a woman for two reasons. The first is the uniqueness of the emotional connection you create, the way you make him feel understood, respected, and valued in a way that no one else does. The second is the sense of growth and elevation you bring into his life, the fact that, with you, he becomes a better version of himself, a man he could never be alone. These two hidden factors are what transform you from someone replaceable into someone unforgettable. And here's the most important lesson. You don't need to beg, chase, or lower your standards to awaken these forces. You don't need to sacrifice who you are. In fact, the more you cling, the less powerful these factors become. The more you try to convince him of your worth, the less he feels it. The true power comes when you live in alignment with your own value, when you respect yourself so much that he has no choice but to recognize that losing you would cost him more than he could ever handle. When you understand this, you stop wasting time on men who are not afraid to lose you. You stop waiting for someone who cannot see your worth. You stop accepting half-effort, excuses, and broken promises. Because now you know that the right man, the man who truly sees you, will fear losing you for the only two reasons that matter. And once that fear is alive in him, his behavior changes. He values you in the present, not just in regret. He gives you his attention, his energy, and his commitment, not because you demanded it, but because deep down, he knows he cannot afford to let you slip away. This is your reminder that you are not just another woman in his life. You are either the woman he fears losing, or the woman he thinks he can replace. And the difference lies in whether these two secret factors are alive between you. Don't confuse his comfort with love. Don't confuse his indifference with strength. Real love shows itself in effort, and real fear of loss shows itself in the way he prioritizes you. So ask yourself right now, am I with a man who truly fears losing me, or am I with a man who takes me for granted? If the answer hurts, it's because deep down, you already know the truth. But knowing this truth is your power. It's your chance to reclaim your value, to stop settling, and to demand the kind of love that doesn't wait until the end to be real. If this message opened your eyes today, don't let it end here. Share this video with another woman who needs to hear it. And if you want to go even deeper into male psychology, if you want to understand the hidden reasons behind men's actions, the patterns they never admit, and the strategies that will help you never settle again, then stay close to this channel. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and keep walking this journey with me. Because the more you understand, the less you will accept anything less than what you truly deserve. Remember this, men only fear losing a woman for 2 reasons. And once you see them clearly, you'll never again waste your time on someone who doesn't value you. You are the prize. You are the foundation. You are the difference between a life he can replace and a life he cannot imagine without. And the moment you live from that truth, you will never be invisible again.